99.9% of women desire this one thing, and most men never give it to them. That's the part nobody tells you. Here's the reality. Most men believe women stay because of money, status, or looks. So they grind harder at work, they buy more gifts, they try to impress with constant attention. But in the end, she still says the words every man dreads, "I just don't feel it anymore." If you've ever been blindsided by that line, you know how brutal it feels. You gave effort, time, and energy, yet somehow it wasn't enough. The truth is, women don't fall for the things you do for them. They fall for how they feel around you. And what almost every woman secretly craves is not endless attention or non-stop texting. It's an emotional connection that pulls her in deeper than surface attraction. The kind of connection that makes her respect you first, desire you more, and stay loyal because she feels something she can't find anywhere else. In this video, you'll learn exactly what that connection looks like, why so many men fail to create it, and how you can build it without being needy, desperate, or overexposed. We'll break down the psychology, expose the mistakes, and show you practical ways to stand out as the man she can't forget. Let's get into it. Number 1. Escalate with playful confidence. One of the biggest mistakes men make when trying to connect with a woman is treating escalation like a dangerous minefield. They either hold back too much, afraid of rejection, or they push too hard, hoping to force attraction. Both extremes kill the spark. What women actually respond to what they secretly crave is playful confidence. Escalation that feels natural, light, and fun, instead of pressured or desperate. Think about it this way. Attraction is like a flame. If you smother it with too much fuel, it burns out. If you starve it, it dies. But if you feed it slowly with the right balance of heat and oxygen, it grows stronger. Emotional connection works the same way. A man who teases with confidence, who escalates little by little while reading her reactions, creates that perfect flame. Take Michael, a 5'2" sales director, and Karen, a 4'8" teacher. They met at a charity fundraiser. On their first few outings, Michael didn't sit back in silence, nor did he overwhelm her with compliments. Instead, he kept the conversation playful. When Karen teased him about his dad jokes, he leaned into it, laughing and adding, "Well, at least they make you smile." When she brushed his arm while laughing, he let the moment breathe, then lightly touched her hand as he told another story. It wasn't forced, it flowed. That small but confident escalation signaled warmth and attraction without pressure. What made Michael stand out wasn't just the physical gesture, it was his tone, his relaxed energy, and his ability to escalate while keeping it playful. He wasn't waiting for her to give him permission, nor was he desperate for her reaction. He led the interaction with confidence, but always left space for her to respond naturally. Women crave this balance because it shows two powerful traits at once: self-assurance and emotional awareness. Self-assurance tells her you're comfortable in your own skin. Emotional awareness tells her you can read the moment, that you're not blind to her signals. Together, they create trust. And once she feels safe, she allows herself to lean into attraction. Here's where many men get it wrong. They think escalation is about physical steps, like moving from a handshake to a hug, or from a hug to a kiss. But real escalation is layered. It's the way you hold eye contact just a second longer. It's the way you let silence build tension, instead of rushing to fill it. It's the way you turn a playful tease into shared laughter. These micro-escalations stack up until the connection feels natural, inevitable. When you do this right, she doesn't feel like you're trying to make something happen. She feels like she's being drawn into a rhythm that excites her, keeps her guessing, and makes her want more. That's why playful confidence is magnetic. It doesn't scream, "I need you." It whispers, "I enjoy this moment, and I know you do too." Michael and Karen's story is proof. By the third date, Karen admitted she hadn't felt this kind of excitement in years. Not because Michael was the richest man she knew or the most handsome. It was because he made her feel alive, engaged, and safe all at once. His playful escalation kept her on edge in a good way, without ever crossing into pressure. The lesson is simple. Escalate with confidence, but keep it light. Show that you're willing to take small steps forward, but always leave space for her to meet you halfway. That's how you build not just attraction, but the foundation of the emotional connection she truly desires. Comment: I lead playfully. And here's the twist. Escalation is only the first step. The real power lies in knowing when to pull back, to give her space to feel your absence and crave your presence even more. Number 2. Pace the attraction. Don't rush it. Most men sabotage attraction not because they lack interest, but because they try to speed it up. They flood her with texts, over-explain their feelings, or rush physical intimacy as if love were a finish line to cross. The irony is, the more you push, the more she pulls back. Why? Because real attraction is built in waves, not in floods. Pacing the attraction means allowing the relationship to breathe. It's about creating a rhythm, moments of closeness, balanced with moments of space that makes her feel both comfortable and curious. When you give her room to miss you, when you don't overfeed the fire, the flame of desire grows steadier and stronger. This is where Stoicism gives timeless guidance. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Time is a sort of river of passing events, and strong is its current." What he meant is that you can't force the flow, you can only move with it wisely. Attraction works the same way. You can't bend time to make her fall for you overnight. You can only align with the natural rhythm of emotional growth. When you respect that rhythm, you appear patient, grounded, and in control. When you ignore it, you come across as needy, insecure, or desperate. Think about the difference between texting her 10 times a day versus waiting until you genuinely have something to say. The first signals boredom and insecurity. The second signals purpose. Think about immediately pushing for intimacy versus allowing tension to build slowly. The first kills mystery. The second keeps her leaning in, wondering what's next. Pacing also means understanding that emotional connection is not a straight line. Some days she'll seem fully engaged, other days she may pull back. That's natural. The mistake is to chase harder during the dips. The wiser move is to hold steady, trusting the rhythm to even out. When you resist the urge to panic, you show her that you're not a man controlled by mood swings or impatience, you're a man anchored in self-mastery. And that's exactly what creates respect. Women respect men who can balance desire with restraint. They admire a man who knows when to lean in and when to step back. In fact, it's often the pauses, the moments of silence, that make her crave more. Just as a song isn't made of non-stop notes, but of notes and spaces, attraction is built on interaction and anticipation. This doesn't mean you play games or manipulate her emotions. It means you align your actions with reality. You don't overwhelm her with your presence, and you don't vanish out of fear. You simply hold a steady pace, moving forward with clarity, but never sprinting out of anxiety. Here's the truth. Women secretly desire a man who doesn't rush because he doesn't need to. A man who paces attraction shows that he values himself and his time. He knows he's not chasing approval, he's building something real. And that calm patience, that refusal to hurry, is intoxicating. So the next time you feel the urge to speed things up, remember the Stoic wisdom. Rivers flow at their own pace, and your job is not to fight the current, but to move within it. Attraction that lasts is never rushed. It's paced, nurtured, and allowed to unfold naturally. Comment: I move steady. No. And here's what makes this even more powerful. Once you learn to pace attraction, you gain the ability to build respect, not just desire. And respect is what keeps her drawn to you long after the first spark fades. Number 3. Integrity makes her respect you. Attraction might spark her interest, but respect is what makes her stay, and nothing builds respect faster or destroys it quicker than integrity. Integrity means you do what you say, you stand by your values, and you don't bend simply because she tests you. Women can admire your confidence or your charm, but if they sense weakness in your word, the foundation crumbles. Let's look at a real-world example. David, 45, recently divorced, started seeing Lisa, a 2-year-old nurse. In the early weeks, Lisa asked if he could cancel his weekend plans with friends to spend more time with her. David cared about her, but he had already committed to his friends. Instead of folding under pressure or making excuses, he said calmly, "I'd love to see you Sunday instead. Saturday night I promised the guys I'd be there." Lisa wasn't thrilled in the moment, but something shifted. Over time, she began to respect him deeply. Why? Because his words matched his actions. He wasn't swayed by short-term approval. This is the power of integrity. When your actions are consistent, she feels secure around you. She knows she can trust what you say, and trust is the soil where emotional connection grows. Without it, attraction feels shaky, unreliable. Now, this doesn't mean you become rigid or stubborn just to prove a point. It means you hold to your values even when it's inconvenient. You don't lie to avoid conflict. You don't promise what you can't deliver. And you don't compromise your standards just to keep her happy for a moment. Integrity is about alignment between your words, your values, and your behavior. Women notice everything. They pick up on the small inconsistencies, the text you never follow through on, the excuses you make, the goals you talk about but never act upon. Each crack chips away at her respect. On the other hand, every moment of consistency reinforces your strength. Even if she doesn't agree with your choice, she respects that you have a backbone, and respect is far more attractive than compliance. A man who simply tries to please will never hold her long-term interest. But a man who lives with integrity earns both her admiration and her desire. It's paradoxical. Saying no when it matters often makes her lean closer, not further away. David and Lisa's story proves this. Over months, Lisa realized she could count on David not because he gave her everything, but because he stayed true to himself. That reliability became magnetic. It made her trust his presence, respect his boundaries, and crave his attention even more. So here's the truth. Without integrity, attraction fades fast. With it, you become the kind of man women respect first, and desire more deeply because of that respect. Integrity doesn't just make you trustworthy, it makes you unforgettable. Comment, I stand firm. And here's what makes this even more compelling. Once you've established integrity, you open the door to another hidden layer of attraction: mystery. And mystery is what keeps her coming back for more. Number 4. Mystery keeps her craving more. Here's the reality most men overlook. Women don't want everything about you revealed on the first date, the first week, or even the first month. Mystery is not about playing games, it's about pacing revelation. It's about allowing her to discover you layer by layer, instead of dumping your entire story at once. And this, more than anything, keeps her desire alive. Think about it. When you hand over every detail about your past, your dreams, your fears, and your daily routines too quickly, you remove all tension. There's nothing left to explore. But when you hold back just enough, when you let her feel like she's unlocking you piece by piece, her curiosity stays sharp. That curiosity fuels attraction. The Stoics understood the power of restraint. Epictetus wrote, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Applied here, it means you don't need to rush to justify yourself or explain everything you do. You can allow some silence, some uncertainty. Let her wonder why you're so composed, why you're so selective with what you share. That restraint is strength. It signals that you are a man with depth, a man who doesn't need validation through constant disclosure. Mystery is not deception, it's discipline. It's choosing to reveal your life in chapters, not spoilers. Maybe she notices you have a passion but you don't explain it fully at first. Maybe she asks about your weekend, and instead of offering a minute-by-minute replay, you keep it simple, letting her imagination fill the gaps. You give just enough for her to stay interested, but not so much that she feels she already knows the ending. When you embody mystery, she invests more. She leans in, asks more questions, and pays closer attention. Every new piece of information feels earned. And because it feels earned, she values it more. That value transforms into emotional connection, the very thing she secretly desires but rarely admits. Without mystery, attraction feels flat. With mystery, even simple interactions gain weight. A glance, a pause, a half smile can feel charged with meaning because she doesn't know everything about you yet. That uncertainty is magnetic. It keeps her craving the next moment, the next layer. So remember, being mysterious doesn't mean being distant. It doesn't mean withholding forever. It means letting her earn access to your depth. It means living with enough purpose that parts of you remain naturally hidden, revealed only to those who stay close long enough. Mystery, then, is not an act. It's a reflection of strength. A man who doesn't rush to be fully known is a man who understands his worth. And that's exactly the kind of man women crave, respect, and remember. Comment, I keep mystery. And here's the key. Once you've mastered mystery, you can combine it with desire and connection to create a pull so powerful, she won't even understand why she can't stop thinking about you. Number 5. Désir plus connexion ignite passion. Most men think passion is all about physical attraction. They hit the gym, buy nice clothes, and try to impress with surface-level charm. And yes, those things can spark desire, but desire on its own burns fast and dies quickly. What almost no one tells you is that passion only lasts when desire is fused with emotional connection. That's the combination that makes her feel alive in your presence and keeps her thinking about you even when you're apart. Let's break this down. Desire without connection is hollow. It excites her body, but not her mind or her heart. She might enjoy the moment, but she won't stay. Connection without desire, on the other hand, feels safe but flat. She might see you as a friend, but she won't crave you as a man. It's when you bring both together, raw attraction and deep emotional resonance, that passion ignites and lasts. Consider Mark, a 50-year-old architect, and Rachel, a 47-year-old marketing director. They met through mutual friends at a dinner party. From the beginning, there was physical chemistry. Rachel found Mark attractive, but what pulled her closer was the way he connected with her beyond surface conversation. When she talked about the stress of balancing career and family, Mark didn't just nod, he listened, asked thoughtful questions, and shared insights from his own life without trying to fix her problems. That balanced desire in his eyes and connection in his words sparked something powerful. By the second month, Rachel told her best friend, "I can't stop thinking about him. It's not just that he's attractive. He makes me feel understood, and that makes the attraction even stronger." That's the secret most men miss. Physical desire may get her attention, but emotional connection multiplies the effect. It deepens the attraction, makes it meaningful, and transforms it into passion. Here's why this works. Desire speaks to her body, but connection speaks to her soul. Together, they create a loop. The more connected she feels, the more she craves intimacy. The more desire she feels, the more she seeks connection. This loop doesn't just create moments of passion, it creates momentum. It keeps her invested long after the initial spark. Of course, many men stumble here. They either overplay desire, flirting aggressively, pushing for physical intimacy too soon, or they overplay connection, becoming the safe friend who never builds tension. The key is balance. Show your attraction without apology, but also show that you see her as more than just a body. Compliment her, yes, but also notice her insights, her values, her perspective. Touch her hand, yes, but also ask her opinion and actually listen. Mark and Rachel's story proves this. Rachel admitted that plenty of men had tried to get her attention before. But Mark was different. He didn't just want her, he valued her. And that combination made her feel both desired and respected. That feeling is addictive. It's why she didn't just want to be around him, she wanted to stay in his life. So here's the truth. Passion isn't about intensity at the start. It's about combining desire and connection so that attraction grows deeper over time. When you master this, you stop being the man she enjoys in the moment and you become the man she can't forget. Comment, I spark passion. And here's the beauty of it. Once you understand this balance, you won't just avoid the common mistakes most men make. You'll know how to create the kind of bond that keeps her loyal, excited, and craving more every single time. Number 6. The 7 deadly mistakes men make. If passion is about balance, then mistakes happen when men tip too far to one side. Most guys don't lose a woman because they lack good looks or money. They lose her because they make one or several of the same predictable errors that kill attraction at its core. These mistakes don't just push her away. They signal to her subconscious that you're not the man who can provide the connection she secretly craves. Let's walk through them. The first mistake is neediness, texting too much, over-explaining, or seeking constant reassurance. It shows you depend on her validation. The second is rushing intimacy, pushing too fast, too soon. This removes mystery and makes her feel pressured instead of desired. The third is overgiving, believing that gifts, favors, or non-stop effort will buy her love. Women don't fall in love with what you do, they fall in love with how they feel around you. The fourth is ignoring boundaries, failing to stand by your word, saying yes to everything, and losing respect in the process. The fifth is emotional instability, snapping when she pulls away, losing control when tested, or showing anger instead of composure. The sixth is talking without listening, dominating conversations instead of creating space for her to open up, which prevents emotional connection. And the seventh mistake is living without purpose, having no clear direction, no mission outside of her. Without purpose, you lose the magnetic quality that makes her see you as a leader in your own life. Now here's what's powerful. These mistakes all tie back to one thing, a lack of self-mastery. And this is where Stoicism shines. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That wisdom is timeless. A woman can sense instantly when a man is controlled by his impulses, his fears, or his need for approval. On the other hand, when you master yourself, when you control your pace, your emotions, your boundaries, you naturally avoid these mistakes. Think about it. If you're not needy, you give her space to miss you. If you don't rush, you let attraction unfold naturally. If you don't overgive, you keep the balance of respect. If you honor boundaries, you earn hers in return. If you stay calm in chaos, you project strength. If you listen as much as you talk, she feels understood. And if you live with purpose, she sees you as a man she can follow and respect. The beauty of avoiding these mistakes is that it doesn't require tricks or manipulation. It requires discipline, patience, and integrity. It requires you to embody the traits of a man who doesn't chase approval, but who leads with calm certainty. And when you do that, you stop being one of the many men who fall into the same traps, and you start being the rare man who pulls her in deeper without even trying. So remember, women don't leave because you didn't do enough. They leave because you did too much of the wrong things. Master yourself, avoid these 7 deadly mistakes, and you'll unlock the kind of connection that 99.9% of women secretly desire. Comment, I master myself. End. And here's the shift. Once you stop making these mistakes, you can focus on what really builds emotional anchors, the subtle ways you leave a mark on her mind and heart long after you're gone. Number 7. Leave emotional anchors in her mind. If you want to understand why some men stay unforgettable while others fade fast, it comes down to this: the ability to leave emotional anchors. These are not just memories of what you did together, but the way you made her feel. When a woman keeps replaying moments in her head, when she associates you with emotions that stir her heart, that's when you've created an anchor she can't shake off. An emotional anchor is simple in concept, but powerful in effect. It could be the way you looked into her eyes during a deep conversation, the calm tone of your voice when she was stressed, or the way you respected her boundaries while still showing undeniable desire. These moments dig deep because they connect to her emotions, not just her logic. Let's bring this into a real example. James, 52, a financial consultant, started dating Laura, 49, who had been divorced for a few years. James wasn't flashy. He didn't shower Laura with gifts or try to impress with grand gestures. Instead, he paid attention. On one of their early dinners, Laura mentioned how much she missed hiking, something she hadn't done in years. 2 weeks later, James suggested they take a weekend trail walk together. For Laura, that moment anchored him in her mind, not because of the activity itself, but because she felt heard, valued, and understood. Even when he wasn't around, she thought about it. That's the power of an emotional anchor. Anchors don't need to be dramatic. In fact, the subtler they are, the stronger they often feel. A compliment delivered at the right time, silence held with confidence, or a supportive gesture when she least expects it. All of these plant seeds that grow in her memory. The key is consistency. You don't force anchors. You live in such a way that they naturally form. Here's where men often miss the mark. They focus too much on doing big things to impress her, rather than creating small, authentic moments that move her emotionally. Women don't hold on to every dinner or gift, but they do hold on to how a man made them feel in those moments. If you made her feel safe, seen, and desired, that impression lingers. The beauty of anchors is that they work even in your absence. When you're not texting or calling, those memories play back in her mind. She associates you with positive emotions, curiosity, safety, excitement, intimacy. That's why anchors are far stronger than effort alone. Effort fades, but emotions stick. James and Laura's story proves it. Months into their relationship, Laura admitted she kept thinking back to that first hike. It wasn't about the scenery, it was about the emotional anchor James unknowingly planted. She felt she could trust him, that he noticed her in ways others hadn't. That memory created a bond far deeper than any gift could. So here's the truth. Leaving emotional anchors doesn't require manipulation. It requires presence. It requires listening, noticing, and responding in ways that touch her feelings, not just her mind. When you master this, you don't just stay in her life, you stay in her thoughts. Comment: I leave marks, not. And here's what makes this powerful. Once you start planting anchors, you realize the strongest connection isn't built on constant presence. It's built on the emotions that echo long after you're gone. Number 8. Use silence to make her miss you. Most men fear silence. They believe if they don't constantly call, text, or entertain her, she'll lose interest. But the truth is, silence is one of the most powerful tools you can use to make her feel your presence, even when you're not around. Silence, when used with confidence, creates space for her to reflect on you, to wonder about you, and most importantly, to miss you. Think about it when you flood her with attention. There's no room for anticipation. Every question is answered immediately, every thought is shared instantly, and every moment is filled with noise. That doesn't create desire, it creates saturation. But when you step back, when you hold back just enough, she's left with curiosity. She wonders what you're doing, what you're thinking, and why you're not chasing her like everyone else. That wondering is the beginning of missing. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. Silence is not weakness, it's calm strength. It's the refusal to be ruled by impulse, the discipline to withhold rather than overindulge. When you practice silence, you communicate that you're not desperate, that you don't need constant contact to validate yourself. You show her you're in control of yourself, and that makes you more magnetic." Now, let's be clear. Silence doesn't mean ghosting. It doesn't mean ignoring her or playing childish games. It means not rushing to fill every gap, not smothering her with updates, and not panicking if she doesn't respond right away. It's about letting space breathe between interactions so that each one feels meaningful, not routine. This space does something remarkable. It amplifies emotions. The less frequent the interaction, the more weight each interaction carries. A text after a day of silence feels far more powerful than 10 texts in an hour. A look across the room after giving her space can feel charged with energy. Silence sharpens her awareness of you. The key is intention. If silence comes from fear of saying the wrong thing or fear of rejection, it feels empty. But if silence comes from strength, from a place of calm control, it feels attractive. She doesn't sense absence. She senses presence in a different form. She feels you because she's left to fill the space with her thoughts of you. Most men misunderstand this dynamic. They think women want non-stop attention, when in reality, women crave the emotional tension that comes from balance. Too much attention kills tension. Too little attention kills connection. But silence used wisely keeps both alive. It maintains curiosity while preserving respect. And here's the paradox. By saying less, you actually communicate more. You tell her, without words, that your time is valuable. You signal that you're not afraid of space. You project certainty that she'll think of you even when you're not around. And often, that certainty becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. She does think of you because you gave her room to. The result? When you finally speak, your words carry more weight. When you finally touch, the moment feels electric. When you finally meet, the anticipation built through silence transforms into passion. So here's the truth. Silence isn't empty. It's full of meaning, full of strength, full of the emotional tension that keeps her craving more. When you master silence, you don't chase her thoughts, you occupy them. Comment: I master silence. And here's the beauty of it. Once you've learned how to use silence, you'll see that creating distance doesn't push her away, it pulls her closer, because she begins to realize just how much she misses the presence only you can bring. Number 9. Secrets and inside jokes build intimacy. Intimacy isn't always built in the big, dramatic moments. Most of the time, it's created in the quiet, subtle exchanges that only you and she understand. Think about it, every relationship has its own private language. Those little secrets and inside jokes that no one else would get. Those moments aren't just fun, they're powerful emotional glue. They bond her to you in ways that are almost impossible to replicate with anyone else. When you share a secret, even a small one, you're creating a private world between the two of you. It could be a funny nickname, a random phrase that came up in conversation, or a silly observation that became your thing. From then on, every time it resurfaces, it triggers the memory of being connected to you in a way no one else can touch. That's intimacy. Let's look at a real example. Michael, 55, a business owner, started seeing Emily, 50, who worked as a high school counselor. On one of their early dates, the waiter accidentally dropped a fork right after Michael cracked a dry joke. Emily teased him that even the universe couldn't handle his sense of humor. They both laughed, and from that night on, whenever something clumsy happened, Emily would whisper, "That's the universe again," and they'd both crack up. To an outsider, it meant nothing. But to them, it became an inside joke, an anchor of connection that no one else could access. Months later, Emily admitted that those little moments made her feel more bonded to Michael than any fancy dinner or gift ever could. This is why inside jokes are so powerful, they're exclusive. They say, we have something the world doesn't. And exclusivity is one of the strongest drivers of intimacy. It signals to her that what you share is unique, something she can't find with another man. Secrets work the same way. I don't mean life-altering confessions or manipulative tactics. I mean the small, personal details you choose to share selectively. Maybe you reveal a hobby you don't tell everyone about, or a childhood story that shaped you. When she's the one who gets that window into your private world, it makes her feel trusted. That trust deepens connection. Here's the key. Intimacy thrives on shared meaning. When she laughs at your inside joke, she's not just laughing at the words, she's laughing at the memory, the bond, the feeling of being in on something with you. When she carries your secret, she feels part of your inner circle, chosen in a way others aren't. And that's magnetic. Most men miss this because they think attraction is built only through physical chemistry. But the truth is, what keeps her thinking about you at night isn't just how you look, it's how you made her feel like you and she are playing a game. Only the two of you know. Michael and Emily's story proves it. Long after their early dates, Emily confessed that she'd sometimes find herself laughing alone when the universe joke popped into her mind. That laughter brought Michael back into her thoughts without him even being there. That's what inside jokes do. They keep you alive in her mind when you're absent. So here's the truth. If you want to build real intimacy, don't just focus on grand gestures. Create small, private threads of connection. Give her those moments she can carry in her memory, those secret sparks that tie her back to you. Because when you do, you don't just build attraction, you build something lasting. Comment, I build intimacy. Oof. And here's the power of it. Once you've created that private world, you stop being just another man in her life. You become the man she can't help but replay in her mind over and over again. Number 10. Purpose makes you unforgettable. Here's the undeniable truth. No matter how attractive you are, no matter how smooth your words or how strong your presence, nothing makes you more unforgettable to a woman than living with purpose. Purpose is the ultimate magnet. It tells her you're not just drifting through life, you're guided by something bigger than the moment, something that commands respect and admiration. Women don't crave men who live only for them. They crave men who live for something beyond them. Why? Because when you have purpose, you radiate certainty. Your actions have weight. Your silence has meaning. Your presence feels rare and valuable. You're not asking her to complete you. You're inviting her into a life already rich with meaning. Think about the men history remembers. They weren't remembered simply because of their looks or charm. They were remembered because they stood for something, because their lives expressed conviction. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, balanced unimaginable power with humility and wisdom. His personal writings weren't about impressing others, but about reminding himself of his duty. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That's purpose. It's not performance, it's alignment between what you believe and how you live. From a psychological perspective, purpose creates stability. Women instinctively look for men who can anchor them in a chaotic world. When she sees that you have a mission, whether it's in your career, your family, your craft, or your personal growth, she feels drawn to that stability. She feels like being near you pulls her into a higher standard of living, and that's intoxicating. Purpose also protects you from the traps that ruin attraction. When you lack purpose, you're more likely to become needy, reactive, or overly focused on her validation. But when you live with purpose, you're grounded. You don't need to chase her attention, because your attention is already invested in building something lasting. That independence makes her respect you more, not less. Let's look at this differently. Attraction without purpose is fleeting. It might ignite quickly, but it burns out just as fast. Attraction with purpose is sustainable. It's the difference between a spark and a steady flame. When she sees you pursuing your mission consistently, even when she's not around, she realizes she's dealing with a man whose value isn't situational. Your worth is not defined by her mood, her response, or her presence. It's defined by your character and your direction. This doesn't mean you neglect her or shut her out. It means you invite her to join you, not consume you. It means she feels privileged to share in your journey because she recognizes that journey matters. Purpose transforms the dynamic from will she stay interested to can she keep up? And that shift alone makes you unforgettable. Here's the paradox. The less you make her the center of your universe, the more she wants to be part of it. When you live with purpose, you don't just attract her, you inspire her. She doesn't just desire you physically, she admires you deeply. And admiration is the foundation of lasting loyalty. So remember this, looks fade, charm can be copied, words can be forgotten. But a man with purpose leaves an imprint. He's the man who stays in her mind long after the conversation ends, long after the touch fades, long after the years pass. Because purpose is timeless. If you want to be unforgettable, stop asking how to impress her. Start asking how to live in alignment with your mission. Because when you do that, you won't need to demand her loyalty. It will be given freely, because she can't help but be drawn to a man who knows exactly why he wakes up every morning. If this video sparked something in you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That way, you never miss the mindset shifts that can quietly change everything. Inside, we don't chase. We lead, and we grow together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.